Good evening. My name is John McKenna. I'm the Boston Craft Beer Examiner for Examiner.com here at the American Craft Beer Fest at the Seaport World Trade Center in downtown Boston. This festival is a place where all different brewers from all across the country present their wares. But one in particular is trying to raise awareness for a type of beer that may not be very common in America, cask ales. And was part of a group called the New England Real Ale Exhibition, also known as NERAX, and I'm joined here by Mr. Mark Bowers. Mark, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me here.
Well, thanks for saying that to the interview. So tell me, what makes cask ales unique?
It's unique because it's still alive. Most beer now is keg beer, where they put CO2 on it and they filtered it or they removed all the yeast, so it's considered dead. So with cask ale, the yeast is still there, so it's still alive. That's one of the biggest differences.
So does that create a better product, or?
It creates more complexity, more subtlety, more interesting flavors to a lot of us cask aficionados.
Really? Now, when I was in London for 5 months last year, and I remember every single pub had at least 2 cask ales on offer from various different breweries. And every time I went, I would try to get interested in really. And I was really excited when I got to try what America had, and there weren't any in the States.
Yes.
Why do you think Americans haven't opened up to cask ales versus other countries?
England was very unique because they had this thing called the tied houses. So they were the bars and the pubs that would serve beer. And they ended up being part of the brewing process, which is cask ale. You have to take care of it, bend it, and serve it, and make sure it's ready to serve. So it puts a little bit more work on the person serving the beer. And since they were the tied houses were kind of a legal thing, it stayed longer through history than what America did because of our distribution and all sorts of different systems. This here, once a keg came out, the dead beer or CO2 only, it got packaged and sent in, somebody just plugged it in, set it up, and started serving it. Where England said, no, we're still have our pubs, we're going to take care of this beer and do it this way. So that's the reason, one of the major reasons why it lasted longer there. Because right around about 1920, 30, everything switched over from real ale, cask conditioned beers, most throughout the world, into keg beer, which was CO2, because it's easier, it's cheaper, the beer lasts longer. I describe it as kind of like frozen food versus fresh. Take strawberries. You take a frozen strawberry. If it's kept frozen, you can keep that for maybe years, and it still tastes like strawberry. If you take a fresh strawberry, you got to eat that within a week or so. Cask beer is like the fresh strawberry with all the nuances, the flavor profile. Where keg beer is more like the frozen strawberry. It lasts longer, so you have a long shelf life, so you can ship it anywhere in the world. But the cask tastes better, but it has a shorter lifespan.
I see. I remember when I was abroad. I also remember when I was abroad. One of the reasons today Americans don't like cask beer is because it tends to have the idea of being warm.
Yeah, there's kind of three misconceptions for a lot of people. A lot of cask beer that people have had, especially if it's served poorly, it could be described as flat, cloudy, and warm. So if it's served poorly, you can get that. Ideally, it should be served at cellar temperature, not room temperature. So we're talking 45 to 50, 55 degrees.
And that's what I noticed as well, because the beers were in the basement and they were pumped up. That's why they were pumped.
Yeah.
And they would taste like cellar temperature.
Yeah.
Which isn't ice cold, they call it. It's just cool, but it's not cool.
A lot of beer in America, they'll just put the firkin on the bar. And that's okay because it does stay cool for a while. But if they're going to serve that the next day or 3 days later, it's way too warm. So all the condition goes, the temperature is wrong, it's not a good product.
I see. Now you're part of the New England Real Ale Exhibition, NERAX.
Yes.
What progress have you made so far in spreading awareness about cask beers? I used to have a lot of people had your festival.
Yes, we've been, our festival is the longest running real ale festival in the U.S. Our last one was our 18th festival in the U.S. So we've been doing this since 1997. And we've kind of modeled it after what England does, camera, for campaign.
Campaign for beer hits.
Yes. But we have to put an American twist on it because, like you say, cask beer here is almost unknown. So our primary thing is to educate people. So we want to educate brewers and convince them to make cask beer, the bars and restaurants and such to serve cask beer, and the public to ask for cask beer and to appreciate it. And I think over the last 20 years, if you look around New England, there are over 100 different places that serve cask beer, at least maybe once a week or maybe even once a month, compared to, say, the Midwest, where you might be lucky to find one place that serves cask beer in a 100-mile radius.
So it really is catching on. So it's starting to really catch on.
Yes.
Interesting. And so what is the future? What is the long-term goal of NERAX?
Originally, we wanted to kind of do two things. One is it would really be great to have a cask beer in every pub around. And also to not just New England, but also spread out through the rest of the U.S. My original goal was hopefully to find a number of bars that would put like 5 or 6 cask beers on.
5 or 6?
5 or 6. I think that would be great.
Most pubs I went to have like 2 tops.
Yes. Yeah. There are a few over there that have more. I went to one over in the UK that had 20 different cask beers.
What was the name?
It was in Cambridge, and I can't remember the name. There's also one in London called the White Horse Pub.
I was actually there.
They have more than
that was
4. They have 12, I believe.
That was it's a great pub.
Yes. So yeah, I would like to see that in the U.S. Can we do something more than just 1 or 2? Now it's considered a unique thing. A lot of bars say, well, we have to have a cask. They do it more for the novelty than say, oh, I really love cask beer. So I would like to see a few places that really concentrate on cask and not do it as a special one-off.
And it was coming with NERAX for sure.
Yes.
Are they going to cask beers as well?
Yes, partly because the head brewer and myself are with NERAX, and I'm the assistant brewer. But also, as we held NERAX at the Aeronaut brewery this year, and the founders of Aeronaut have really started to really appreciate cask ale as well. And they see that as can be a very good niche beer, niche area for beer. So our idea is to actually have probably 2 beers on cask at all times, with maybe 4 beers on keg.
Now, just a question: your favorite type of beer coming out of cask? What's your the one beer you've got to have on a hot day?
Like a session IPA now. It's got a lot of hops, but still low alcohol. I really like the low alcohol beers because that's kind of what cask beer in the UK is synonymous with. Something you can drink almost all day long. Low alcohol, so you don't get totally blitzed and you can walk home.
Right. So beers at home. If you want to drink all day, low alcohol beer.
Yeah.
Don't go for the high stuff.
On cask.
Yes. Okay, and thank you very much. And for the watching the video, how can you get in touch with NERAX?
We have a website, www.nerax.org, and what's really nice about that is not only do we have information on our festivals, but we have a cask finder for New England and Boston area. And you can go on there and find out where cask is being served, and that's where I came up with this number of over 100 places that have cask ale in New England. We can find that there. We also have a person who does our social media, so sends out a lot of tweets where cask beer is, because sort of Twitter and cask beer go hand in hand. Cask, you want to have it fresh and you want to have it now. And so when we hear about cask beer being on anywhere in the New England area, the brewers, the pubs send it to us, we tweet it out, and we have a lot of people following that. They see that, oh, such and such is on cask over at this bar. I'm going out tonight because I want to get some of that cask beer.
Sounds amazing. Mark, thank you very much. this
Thank you,
Mark
Jason.
Bowers,
Yes.
New England Real Ale Exhibition or NERAX. Find him on Facebook and Twitter. You can also find his new brewery,
Aeronaut in Somerville.
Aeronauts Union Square Somerville, right?
Yes. Thank you so much, John.
So next time you guys want to grab a tap, instead go for a poll.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you very much.